Hi, my name is Michael Goodrich, and I will be presenting my presentation number 4, which is on the specific case study of the whistleblower and that specific story and that situation. So an overview of the case, first of all. So it centers on Harry Markopolos, who back in the year 2000, 2001, investigated the case of Bernie Madoff and his company and the sort of suspicious activity that was going on there and the income that was coming in that didn't make any sense. He originally worked for a competitor firm to Madoff's firm, and he was assigned the project of figure out how this guy's doing this, getting these returns. We want to do this too. And so he investigated and got into it, and the numbers just didn't add up, didn't make sense. And so he wanted to investigate further and really latched onto that. A couple years later, he left the firm that he worked for, started his own private firm to do forensic accounting and investigate it further, and ended up several years later, through communication with the SEC, ended up helping bring to light the fraudulent activity that Bernie Madoff was doing and the Ponzi scheme that had been taking place for many years and affected many people. And so in this presentation, I'll go over how, as a whistleblower, how Harry Markopolos applied aspects of the IMA Statement of Ethical Professional Practice, the 4 main aspects of that, as well as the resolving ethical issues section of that as well. So the first of those aspects is competence. And I would say that in the aspect of competence, he succeeded. He was very thorough about the way that he researched. And he said that when he first did it, he was sort of certain. And as he really researched more over the years, every time he'd come back with a resolution, it'd be more and more certain until the last one that he was finally certain that yes, 100%, there is something fraudulent going on here. He was very confident about the way that he researched that and the thoroughness that he took to investigate that to try to come to an ethical conclusion to stop the fraudulent activity that was occurring. The second aspect is confidentiality. And again, I would say that Harry Markopolos succeeded in that confidentiality. The information that he gleaned and that he researched to investigate, the math that he did, all of that, he didn't share with a lot of people. He actually refused the press who wanted to interview him a lot and really tried to stay out of the limelight and avoided people as to not let that information out or look at the wrong idea, tried to handle that situation with care, and actually reported it 5 different times over the years to the SEC that, hey, it looked like some fraudulence going on here, you guys should investigate, and really took it to the proper sources that should take care of that situation and kept it under the confidentiality that was needed. Next up is integrity. This is the only one that I would say he only somewhat succeeded in, and that was because the original intent was that they were a competitor. His original firm was a competitor to that of Bernie Madoff. And so the reasoning there for them to investigate was, let's make money too. Let's maybe get better than our competitor. And so the integrity there maybe wasn't quite as present. But I would say over time, because he eventually opened his own firm for the purpose of investigating these kind of things for the proper reason and handling it the ethical way, I would say that over time he did get more integrity related to this case. But I would say he didn't succeed in this aspect as much as the others. The fourth aspect of these 4 aspects is credibility. And this, again, I would say he did really well at. He really researched his facts. He described himself as a math guy, and he loved math. And so he really went through the process of doing these equations, the calculus, the things that were needed to really figure out what was going on there, if it really was fraudulent activity, where that money was coming from, etc., and just figuring out the reasoning behind why this Ponzi scheme had happened. So credibility there. And again, he really only gave a certain amount of certainty towards his facts as he progressed, like I had mentioned before. But really, like, the first time he had a lot of facts, but he only gave it like okay, this might be happening. And as he went, he gave more confidence as he had more information to that veracity of his sources. So really it showed the credibility there that, hey, he had this much confidence in his ability, and actually he had the facts, and that improved over time, and he had the information, the equations, the calculations, the facts that he needed for that, and really had it well backed up. So beyond those 4 aspects, there's also the part of resolving ethical issues that's at the end of that statement. that really goes into detail of like what people can do, what members can do to resolve ethical dilemmas in a way that is proper, and how they can apply those aspects to resolve that. And I would say in the situation with Harry Markopolos, he definitely resolved that ethical issue in a proper manner. He took it to the right source, took it to the SEC, and tried to report it to other people that were higher up, sort of in that authority chain, that could handle it better, get other people involved, that were the proper people, and tried to ultimately resolve it in a way that he didn't like go out in public and just shout it to the streets. He really handled it very professional, took it at the time that he needed, got his facts straight, and let it happen in a way that allowed him to present the facts and still seem credible and capable, and let people know that, hey, yes, this is the truth. Here's why. And he ran through those many times and made sure that that was properly handled, and ultimately resolved it through proper sources, and handled it in a really good ethical way in the end. Finally, here are my sources. So thank you for watching this, and